In 1860, Abraham Lincoln said, "My earliest recollection was of the Knob Creek place." This is the place of the first memories of President Abraham Lincoln. Here he learned to walk and talk, read and write. It's where he first went to school, where he first worked a garden with his sister Sarah, and he witnessed the death of his baby brother, and at one time nearly drowned to death. Hey everybody, this is Colonel Carson with Family Tree Nuts, and we're at Knob Creek, Kentucky, the boyhood home of the great Abraham Lincoln. And by the way, if you like our videos and you feel we've earned it, please subscribe to our free YouTube channel and click that little bell so you get notifications as to when we post new videos. And if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button below too. Lincoln was actually born about 10 miles from here and a couple of miles south of Hodgenville, Kentucky at Sinking Springs Farm on February the 12th, 1809. His parents, Thomas Lincoln and Nancy Hanks Lincoln, bought 300 acres for only $200. That's 67 cents an acre, folks. 2.5 years later, the Lincolns became involved in a land dispute for the Sinking Springs Farm. Thomas Lincoln was determined to fight the issue in court, but he knew that it was going to take several years to settle. In the meantime, he moved the family here to Knob Creek, where they rented a 30-acre farm until the dispute could be settled. The dispute went on until 1816, 5 years later. And once the land dispute was settled, Thomas, like so many other second-generation Kentuckians, moved the family to Indiana for a new start. The land in Indiana was less expensive, it was less populated, and he had more opportunity. Now, like we said earlier, this is the first place that Lincoln remembers. In 1860, he wrote in a letter, "My earliest recollection was of the Knob Creek place." Now that is a statement that makes Kentuckians proud. This is the place where Lincoln lived his formative years, where he learned to walk and talk. He learned to fish and farm. Abraham and his sister walked 2 miles to school from here, and the two of them planted a garden. Abe said that he remembered that he planted pumpkin seeds every other row, and his sister Sarah planted corn every other row. And then Abe remembered how the next morning a gully washer came and washed it all away. Lincoln also said that he remembered seeing troops that were headed back home from the War of 1812, traveling the road in front of the cabin here. Imagine that memory. He also mentioned that he remembers this is the first place where he ever saw slaves. They were going down the Green River Turnpike on the old Cumberland Road between Bardstown and Nashville. He also remembered the tragedy of his baby brother Thomas being born here and then dying shortly thereafter. Abe had another vivid memory from this place, the time he almost drowned. Him and his friend were jumping stones and logs on the swollen Knob Creek, and Abe slipped and fell in. Abe was struggling down the creek and rapidly losing strength. His friend Austin Gulliher rushed down the creek, stuck out a stick for Abe, and pulled him to safety. Imagine if Abe drowned that day. The world would have never known President Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln may be a polarizing figure not only in his own time but also today. But it is without a doubt that he left an impact and a legacy on America. Without him, America quite possibly would look very different. What do you think? What is your opinion about Abraham Lincoln? We usually get all types of answers when we ask that question. It will be very interesting to see what everybody says below. The area here today is a park and has a Lincoln cabin reproduction. You can take a little path and stand on the banks of Knob Creek, just like Abe himself did. A great memory that I have from here is once when my daughter Sarah was about 6, we took the family here. She kept exploring the field and got further and further away. I have a picture of her and she's just a little tiny dot so far away, and I had to run to retrieve her. You know, it's stories like this that make great historic places more memorable to so many. Over the years, many folks have lived here, and in the 1920s there was a little gas station and cafe that was called Old Lincoln Tavern. It was a neat little tourist trap. So here we are at Knob Creek, the boyhood home of President Abraham Lincoln, the place where he had his first memories and where he developed his personality. We hope you get to visit here soon. And remember, family tree nuts, let our nuts find the nuts in your family tree.